Patrick here. Welcome to another episode of Record Rooms. This is a series where I interview record collectors in their record rooms. On today's episode, I'm speaking with Chris Colohan. Chris has a very long resume of bands. The short list here is Cursed, Left for Dead, Sect, Burning Love, The Swarm. I could go on. He goes on. And with a resume like that, you might assume that he collects punk records and hardcore records. And he does, but his collection has a lot more than just punk records to it. We spend time talking about folk, Afrobeats, classic rock, and punk and hardcore records too. You might be kind of surprised at how many chill records we talk about, considering the volume of the bands that Chris plays in. But there's often a dichotomy between the music you make and the music you consume. There certainly is for me as well. I had a really nice time editing this episode because Chris is so articulate and all of his opinions are so well thought out. And honestly, he just has a really broad but deep appreciation for music. He's a punk first, but more than that, he's a music fan. So just very quickly, if you like the show and you want to see more, easiest way to help me out here is to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, that kind of stuff. And if you're looking to do more than that, I do a monthly record giveaway to my Patreon subscribers, a good record given away every month. There's more info on that in the description if you're interested. I'm kind of trying something new here with a longer cut of the interview. So with that, I'm going to keep this intro nice and short, and let's jump right in.
Hi, I'm Chris Colohan. I'm in Toronto, Ontario. Grew up playing in punk and hardcore bands and still do. Left for Dead, Cursed, The Swarm, Ruination. I played in a band called Sect now. I do a solo thing now called Unwell. That's it, Burning Love. There's just been Countdown to Oblivion. I'm going to forget them. There's a ton of them.
That's it. Here's 10.
35 years of hardcore. Collect everything I grew up with, and it just metastasized into a million other genres from there. Punk, classic rock, folk, blues, reggae, and dub, soundtracks. It just became kind of everything. I held on to most of what I had growing up, and I'm kind of a cheapskate about it. I think because generationally, I like everything being crazy expensive and really fetishized kind of kills the fun for me. So I just kind of held on to what I had the first time around and add to it where I can. I never thought about it in numbers. I had to get rid of a lot. Actually, this kind of part of the story, but got downsized and got evicted the year before last from our old house. Just after I'd had a friend Jay who plays in Cancer Bats and he's a woodworker. Finally got all the IKEA bullshit out of my life and got these shelves made to the wall in our old house and then promptly got evicted from there. So a big part of finding a new place, it's really tiny compared, but we had to have one stretch of 10 feet that this could go on. So here we are in the kitchen, but it's there.
And then you've got some singles up top.
Yeah, which I really wish they'd just been 6 inches right out of the gate. Because then they'd fit perfectly with your 12 inches. But yeah, there's a lot of that. I don't really think in numbers. I just like this much stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
it's more about the space you can fill than how many you've got.
Yeah, for sure. So 7 inches, yeah, I think I downsized them, but there's easily 800.
What kind of stuff have you been listening to lately?
A lot of more mellow stuff, playing really loud music. It wasn't what I wanted to listen to at the end of a day or at the end of a long-ass car ride when that's your whole life and that's every night anyway. I listen to lots of folky things. Tim Buckley lately, Terry Callier, Sybil Beyer. A lot of good, just kind of sad old stuff I like. I lately got a really good copy of Hurdy-Gurdy Man by Donovan, an original gatefold of an old one. I love that record. I like a lot of different stuff. And a lot of good punk lately, like Cold Crime.
Thank you.
Take a bow.
Thank you.
Yeah, with newer, semi-recent things, like hardcore especially, I kind of pick my battles, and there's things I try to get an ear for something. I'm going to like this over time. I don't just like this now, and I'm never going to listen to it again if I get it. So some bands, that is now, my idea of what's a recent good hardcore record is crazy because it's probably 10 years old already. But I love this record. But I like stuff that's a little more naturally occurring. It's like over time, I think in the post-internet world, music got very self-aware. And it got to sort of an automated point where things can kind of punch in their coordinates and come out this like perfect, fully formed thing.
Yeah.
And that's just less interesting to me, even if it's technically really impressive or good. And I think I like stuff just like culture that's just there.
Like it has the imperfections?
Yeah. Yeah, honestly. Or just has a groove that's its own kind of thing. Yeah. Are you huffing right into this microphone?
Right into the microphone.
So sorry. You're a little wheezy. I'll take imperfections and just like real context over... There's a lot of music that's really good right now, and it's kind of like perfect and tasteful and all that, but that's not really what I go by.
Thinking about imperfections in music, it makes me think of like the John Peel quote, where it's like, life has surface noise. Are you a condition guy? Like,
nah, if it's not, doesn't like skip particularly, no. I like old, especially like old soul records, old blues records, like things that are from like the 30s, you know, and they're recorded onto cylinders. And then the LP itself will be like 50 years old, even if it's like a later pressing of something. Yeah, that's like a reminder that it's alive.
It's had a life before you.
Yeah. Old 45s especially, like old songs, 50s and 60s songs, doo-wop and girl group songs.
Yeah.
I want it to crackle a little bit.
Yeah, okay, I completely agree. I don't collect too intensely, but I've got quite a girl group collection as well, Phil Spector type stuff.
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it always crackles.
For sure.
Right? I always think it's funny when I buy and sell. And so when you sell to guys who are buying big money, like collector hardcore records.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, but it's VG Plus, it's not near mint. It's got like a little tick on it. And it's like, buddy, you can't fucking hear it.
Yeah.
As soon as the guitar comes in, you can't fucking hear it.
And it's 30 years old.
And it's, yeah.
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 It's like if you had a pair of shoes or something. It's like, there's a tiny microscopic, like, yeah, it's a pair of shoes from 1982. I don't really sell, or I don't buy with that in mind.
Like you purge sometimes, but you don't buy and sell.
I'll turn stuff into other stuff I want. This is a dick move, but I can't stand the Beatles. The Kinks are my Beatles.
Oh, yeah.
But I hold on to Beatles records in case I can later trade them for good Kinks records or things like that.
Yeah, to me, the answer to the question, the Beatles or the Stones, is the
Kinks. Fuck yeah, you're right. And the Stones.
And sometimes the Beatles, but generally, broad strokes, I would say the Kinks.
Yeah. This is my accidental Beatles in case, or I mean, I'm also open to being wrong about stuff and it hitting me later in life. The Beatles are just so symbolic of like default culture written by the winner that it's just way fucking less interesting to me than a band like the Kinks that's like fully in an Oasis caliber way, like self-destructive, self-defeating, and brilliant. So I'll take the Stones too, which when they go for it, they crank out like a cocksucker blues or something that's like legit antisocial. You're not going to see the Beatles doing that. But this is my Stones records. It's almost like I got to think about it in inches sideways on the wall. A lot of classic like metal and thrash metal things like Bathory records that I also could not afford now. An OG Australian version of Dirty Deeds.
I love those Aussie covers.
Yeah, like shit that I just held on to. That, Japanese hardcore records. Thank you, Simon Harvey. And it's the one with the red, which, yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
Bonsai.
There's a guy who was selling like a Bathory t-shirt on eBay, and the description said, Rat Lord.
It is kind of a rat lord. There's something else. I take a lot of guff, but it's only me that has to know how this works. Maybe it's because I studied Chinese in university, or because I'm left-handed, or just not right. I go right to left.
Do you really?
Alphabetically. Yeah, and for a reason. When you have things right to left, and you pull them out, they're in order, right?
Yeah.
So I contend that the rest of the world's records are exactly backwards. I don't know. I just I know what's where this way.
Yeah. So top right to bottom left.
Yeah. Do you want a rundown of everything that's in here?
I would love to hear about your sections. Yeah.
So this is like a lot of early blues, like pre-war up to the 60s, about as far as most of it goes. Blues records, reggae and dub records. This is all Africa, a lot of like African and Zambian psych in the good.
You got some Zamrock stuff.
Oh God, I love it. The Witch and Amanaz and all that stuff.
Yeah, I've been on a huge Zamrock kick, like at the moment.
The good stuff is so good.
I'd love to see some.
Oh man, Chrissy Zebi Tembo.
Yeah.
The Witch especially is the one to beat. Salty Dog, there's a million. This is all France and world. Those are all jazz records, avant-garde, composers. This is everything like punk, metal, and classic rock. these like 3 rows are just all that. Compilations, spoken words, so some of that will be like poets, historical records. My wife collects Residence records and Ralph records, which is it's a whole world. That's some of her stuff there. Dusty Springfield I think of as like a soul singer. And something like Charlie Pride I think of as a country singer. So there's definitely like things bleed over. Bluegrass and rockabilly and surf and folk sort of all kind of roll in together. So there's a lot of that. A lot of avant-garde stuff like John Fahey, Robbie Basho. I love stuff like that, and Sandy Bull. Folk records proper, girl groups and doo-wop. And then almost all the rest of that is soul and old R&B and hip-hop records. Mix of 80s records and just a mix of everything else. So that's how I got it set up. And it doesn't make sense to anyone else, but I know what's where.
The one thing that a lot of people call me out on is like I put solo records next to the band that I associate the solo artist
Yeah.
for. So like if I want to listen to The Idiot by Iggy Pop, I go to S
the
for
Stooges,
Stooges.
yeah.
Right? If I want to listen to Stiv Bators' Disconnected, I go to D for Dead Boys.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of people tell me I'm a fucking idiot for doing that.
No,
but
man.
It makes sense to me, you know?
Stooges.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Lou Reed records with Velvet Underground records. And I see something really neat. This is something I got into over the pandemic when we were all just like stuck trying to buy things on the internet for fun. But I got into these Russian bootlegs, like state bootlegs that they made. And it's just fascinating to know circa Iron Curtain that things like that were on the other side of it. We're getting through. There's all these like, they're not great pressings, but it's just like even seeing that in Cyrillic is
it's worth it for the art.
Yeah. And the fact that it happened. There's a lot of Taiwanese and Korean ones too. I got into that with Sabbath records because that's a pretty big
section for you, yeah.
But all these are Korean state, like government state bootlegs.
I've never seen a single one of those before.
They're shouldn't be a grabby money thing. Yeah. Like they're not great.
They're
pressings.
bootlegs. They're
bootlegs, and they're like they're cut weird and everything like that. They're crude, but. This is where I guess your mentality about what culture is to you, you know, is different for everybody. I don't really give a shit what they're worth in money. I just love that happened.
Do they sound okay?
They're a little choppy. Yeah. They're pretty good.
3-piece Sabbath?
I guess. There's a Taiwanese.
There's Ozzy on the back.
There's a Taiwanese Master of Reality I really want, but I keep seeing it for $200. I'm like, that's dumb.
Yeah.
This is all stupid. 2025 can eat me.
Do you clean your records?
Yeah. Sometimes at work, there's like a ultrasonic. I'll use that, but I've got like a spin clean. And that pretty much does me just about right. And I get like all the brushy kind of thing.
I just use the spin clean as well, but you can get pretty fancy with the cleaner.
I really want one of those Hummin' Guru ones.
Yeah.
Oh God, I've been like coveting that in my mind, waiting for it to drop under like $800.
Totally
what it is, but hitting a button, drying everything. Yeah, things don't need to sound super perfect because most of the things I like are old, and I don't like need to pretend that they're not. There's MP3s for that.
I see some CDs as well. If you need perfect fidelity, you can always.
When records got so grabby and kind of fetishy and expensive, I was having a lot of fun with 8-tracks. Because like an old dude will just pull them out of his attic or basement and doesn't really care. It'll be like $20 for a box of them. And they're so vulnerable. I mean, they can live for 40 years and snap the first time you play them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you got to really just enjoy finding them and listen to them because they could snap every time you play them. And I love that about it. But,
walking on thin ice.
Yeah. But I've got like Love and Ramones and like things like the MC5. And
a lot of that early Sire punk stuff came out on 8-track.
Sire.
There's lots of Stooges 8-track.
Sure.
There's lots of cool stuff on 8-track.
Yeah, man.
It's not just classic rock and old country, right?
Yeah. No, Sire, it's like certain labels did. So like all the CBGB's era punk shit was.
Yeah.
I've got some Ramones and some New York Dolls, but there was like Modern Lovers, all that stuff. Yeah. And I think in UK stuff, I think some things like Buzzcocks and Damned ended up on 8-track. We did a cursed one with a label, and it's all the entire discography like cut to a 200-minute or like however long it took to do the entire thing, and like properly mastered for 8-track. I don't know how many people were buying these because they could ever play them and not.
I wonder how many
them,
have been played.
I did.
Yeah, cool. When you think back, what's like the earliest musical memory that you've got?
The Boomtown Rats, I Don't Like Mondays.
Yeah.
Which have got up there. For some reason, I was a little kid. It was like 1980, 81, whenever that would have been, on my lawn. And I remember in an old orange transistor radio hearing I Don't Like Mondays. And I mean, I'm a little kid, but I remember like something is wrong with the world. Like it really conveyed like a sense of unease. That's technically kind of in the punk umbrella of things, but
Boomtown Rats are like the kind of band where you go to a not so good record store and there's a punk section.
Yeah, and
you're gonna find Boomtown Rats in there.
I really just need I Don't Like Mondays.
Tell me why I don't like Mondays. Tell me why I don't like.
Was there a band or a label or an album that like really early on pulled you into collecting?
Absolutely. Yeah. Crass Records.
Crass Records or Crass the band?
The label because of the band.
Yeah.
You know?
Specifically the art on a lot of that stuff is like hyper designed to draw in like the youthful eye.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, my Crass Records are going to have holes in the corners from being up on, I want to even say like teenage walls, but no, like way the fuck past that.
Well, they're all poster sleeves, or a lot of them are poster sleeves.
They were all up on my wall, you know?
Yeah.
It's very, this was like every punker's bedroom. It was like, and I wouldn't want them to not be full of holes from being on my wall.
Yeah.
You know? Gore Park in Hamilton, we had a place called Zap. I didn't have like an older brother or friends. I just like kind of walked into this and a bunch of stuff just jumped out. And Exploited Live at the White House was one of them. My War was one. And that definitely led to a whole chain, like SST things for sure. And Crass Penis Envy was one of them too, Minor Threat. But it pains me to think of what else was on that wall, because I know there were things now that were like Discord 7 inches and Misfits 7 inches, which at the time was like, that's $14. I don't have $14. Ouch. Which doesn't even mean, and I mean like Negative Approach records that I wanted and I could have got for like $700 in the 90s. It doesn't even mean I should have then, because they're $3,000 now. It's like, it's a fucking hardcore record. I didn't have that then, just like I don't have $3,000 for it now. It's like, it's fine. I was there at the time and place that I could get lots of the things I liked, and I had lots of chances to do it. I don't really feel like I need to be part of this wave of that economy, you know?
Yeah, I was actually thinking recently about how like Misfits 7 inches specifically, and Discord too, have really, really blown up as far as value goes.
Of course.
And they've always been expensive, they've always been collectible because they've always been good, right? And they've always been DIY, and they're 500 run, 1,000 run, the Misfit stuff, screen printed sleeves, you know, Danzig dead in his basement, that kind of stuff, right? There's a lot of reasons why they're expensive. But it feels like now that they're all like above $1,000. Some of them above $2,000, $3,000, right? Cough Cool by the Misfits, $10,000, right?
All-time great things, but like when everything is in, I don't know if it's like the late capitalism as an excuse, but it's like this with movies, working in a film place when there's like limited editions. But as someone that's played in bands, I like the fun collector part of it. So you like making weird alternate covers and silk screening like label release, record release show covers. But then it really kind of sours it for you, and it turns into such a grab it and flip it thing.
It does feel to me like there's a different group of people that are chasing these hardcore records now that they're worth big bucks.
Well, we at Emissions, I was working there, we had a Negative Approach single. And I mean, all-time great.
For sure.
5 minutes of hardcore ever,
without a
you
doubt.
know? It's just like when you're in the thousands, like this is like investment banker bullshit. What punk kid is getting that?
It's not, I mean, it's not a punk. You're dealing with record collectors, not punks.
And I don't really like that world of things. Like the feeling, the fervor, the grabbiness of it sort of kills it for me.
So safe to say you're not lining up for Record Store Day?
I think I have one Record Store Day release, and it's Amanaz. One with the super reverb and one with cleaner.
I just learned about the two mixes on this album. Yeah,
that's great.
Color, my friend. The world is full of misery.
I think Record Store Day is just kind of like a bit crass. I think if a record deserves to exist, it should any day. It's like, I think they fleshed out a bunch of things in the first few years of Record Store Day that hit on the point of Record Store Day. And now they're just like finding bullshit soundboard recordings of things from the 80s that like, you're coming up with shit to put out.
Or sometimes it's reissues of dollar bin stuff.
Yeah.
I've never lined up for Record Store Day. I have some, but I bought them secondhand like a couple years later. Or like, I'm a sucker for the Ramones cash grabs. They always put like out a live record or like a remix record.
Those demos, those 75
75 demos were incredible.
Yeah.
Worth the $39 or $48, whatever it was.
For sure. There's a wave of boots now that are like next level. That Misfits one.
Yeah.
From 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, there's one that came out like a week ago.
Oh, the one with like there's an extra
the
song?
Manny tapes.
Wow.
The quality is very low.
Right. Well, that one, the 78 demos one even, it's like cough cool versions of all of Legacy of Brutality. That was a revelation. When you think that all the Stones out there have been turned over and then something like that gets found, it's exciting.
It's because Danzig is holding the Stones down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but it makes you wonder what else is like that. There's infinite more things that could still come to light.
Let me ask you about your sleeves. I see you've got almost everything in sleeves, mostly in sleves.
A lot of
it.
it.
You're not consistent about it. Do you care about sleeves?
I kind of just want to keep them in as good shape as I can. I'm not that particular, but when there's so many, they can also kind of stick together or something over time, and I don't want that to ever be in that, pull them apart. Sleeves, eh.
Quick interruption here. Chris obviously isn't sold on sleeves, but I am. If you're looking for sleeves, consider Vinyl Storage Solutions. They make inners, outers, 7-inch, 10-inch LP box sets. There's all kinds of record accessories. You get 10% off your order with the coupon code PACKRAT. I recently re-sleeved my entire LP collection, and so all my sleeves are like the same height across. It's very nice to have just like one sleeve across your whole collection. Anyways, back to the interview.
I am tough with being a completist. Definitely not complete ever. I think I have a lot of something, Sisters of Mercy, Stones, Pink Floyd, but there's no way that they're like 100% complete.
Those are crazy bands to try and complete.
Oh
though.
God, yeah.
Right.
And there's some stuff that I have that it's like the 70s bootlegs, like say Pink Floyd, OG bootleg kind of things.
The fold over sleeves and
Yeah,
blank white
but
jacket, yeah.
in like an economy where like Fleetwood Mac Rumors is supposed to be a big deal to find, what are my chances of ever coming across like the things that are my white whales?
Yeah.
Now, other than just like paying through the nose on Discogs, and I just don't. I don't know. I don't like the feeling of that.
So you don't buy the Discogs?
I will sometimes when I know I can't any other way.
Yeah, that's
You
how
know?
I feel as well.
Yeah, like I used to travel. It's like say Soul Records. I used to travel and tour a lot in the American South, and you're in like Memphis, Nashville, places where like Stax is, and you can go to the local spots and find those old records. I think that's my favorite thing. Being in Europe and being in France and looking for like records from
French
there.
picture sleeves.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Digging, I guess, but it's when you rarely are reminded that it's still kind of random. There's still cool shit out there in the world. Like it's not all 100% picked over. Black Flag, Black Sabbath. I mean, like that's Sabbath.
Whoa. And that's a whole discography? You're a Ronnie guy as well?
I love the Ronnie stuff. I don't like the Ian Gillan stuff. And I love Dehumanizer because that goes back to like, there's bangers that sound as good as Heaven and Hell. There's at least two. That song, TV Crimes. I love Ronnie James Dio. You just have to look at it differently. Like it's not the Ozzy Sabbath, but it definitely fucking rules, you know? After that, not so much. Black Flag was just like such a gateway one for me. I'd say probably the Misfits. These things all seem like they're really obvious, but a lot of good, like things I had growing up in Hamilton, like Boots that I still never see come up. Like live ones, which at the time was a $9.98 import from the Record Peddler. A lot of Melvins, King Crimson, the Kinks I love. The Kinks I'm big on. Jesus and Mary Chain. This is the kind of stuff I grew up on. Actually, you know what? The Cure. Over time, I got rid of the mid-period kind of poppy stuff. I didn't like it so much anymore. But
Have you changed your tune?
I say that, but there's the songs I keep hearing. I'm like, wait, Let's Go to Bed was from that time, and there's a million songs. I've slowly started getting them back. I mostly love, the early ones. Faith, and which both, you see these, were when they were getting discs, continued, and were $2.99 at Cheapies in Gore Park, or the Record World next to there. So most of my favorite records and the most sentimental ones, Susie and the Banshees records, Sex Pistols records, Specials records, Violent Femmes, things like that, were mostly like $2.99, or like say a Skinny Puppy record, which is now going to be like $100 deal, but I can't do it again. That's all it is, you know? Like sure. I'm not paying the modern rate.
Is there one record that you own the most copies of? Most duplicates?
I try not to do that. There's only one thing that, because I love it so much, I got to out of the gate, and it was the reissue of the Jerusalem. You know this record?
No, I don't think I do.
It's 71 or 72, Ian Gillan produced, UK, just an absolute missing link heavy rock record. There was some like Christian Jerusalem that they get all confused with, but this is the only like LP they ever did and one single. That I'm like, I know I'm going to wear that out over time, and I bought 2 of that to be a little bit greedy. I've had one in my hand, and I could have got it for like $300, and now it's like $1,200. There you go. Also very formative. Also very punched in the corner.
Yeah, a lot of delete holes.
Yeah,
it doesn't bother me at all. It's like we were talking about with Surface Noise. It's like it's just part of the story.
It's had a life.
Yeah,
you know, this is its chapter of life. After me, it'll hopefully have more life. Captain Beyond. That's one of my favorite things. Oh, that I guess I bought twice because I got the crazy reissue, but also have the original hologram cover. It's like Rain and Blood. I can't listen to it without listening to the entire thing if I put it on at all. I could not stop myself over time from buying like all these different versions because I really love Channel 3.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are really redundant. I think from all that time when you're trying to find something and you can't, you get this thing in your like a reflex when you find it, but you forget that you already found it.
Oh, dude, it happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
I find something in the wild and I'm so stoked, and I get it home and I go to alphabetize it and it's right next to a duplicate copy, and I'm like, when the fuck did I buy this?
Yeah, I had that. I got to phone home a lot when I'm on tour. Like, can you look on the wall? Oh, Neurosis is a biggie. That's just about complete, but I've got some test presses and some interesting stuff, but Neurosis was a big one for me. Ended pretty badly.
What Motorhead do you have? What are you into?
Oh God, what am I not into for them? Well, let's see. After the Crew.
We got a lot of Crew records.
Oh God, that's too much Crew. I could probably lighten up on the Crew. Before Mott the Hoople, after the Crew. I have some Motorhead and Hawkwind records that I've... See there? Where it says 2 pounds?
Perfect.
That was a dollar bin record over there. Not that long ago. I mean, they're kind of all the classics for them. Oh, I guess I have 2 Ace of Spades. The Girls' School Split. Yeah. Pretty, I mean...
Basically all of it.
Basically all of it. I like even the later ones. I like that Bad Magic. There's some good mid-period 2000 stuff. They didn't really ever get shitty, so...
When you think about like your favorite Ontario records, what comes to mind?
Chokehold was a really big thing for me because it was a very small scene, but it absolutely impacted the entire course of my life for happening to be on the Hamilton Mountain in the year in 1990-91. So that band for me is kind of quintessential like that. Mm-hmm. I'd say in the general history of things, probably something like Teenage Head. I mean, I've got like Frantic City and those, but mostly about this one. That's Pete's writing.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure, that's
Hits and
Pete.
misses.
Love you, Pete. Yeah, I think that's a pretty quintessential Ontario punk record. What do you think?
Teenage Head comes to mind for sure. They're one of my all-time favorites.
The Vile Tones is the next.
Vile Tones are also great, right? Unfortunately, I kind of hone in on Toronto, but I know that there's so much from outside of Toronto as well.
Yeah.
Like, I just got the Spies 7-inch from Windsor. Ugly Pop did a reissue of it, Machine Shop and Underground.
Okay.
Fucked Up put out so many of the most important records from Ontario. Like, I think Hidden World by Fucked Up is
great.
Like an all-timer for Ontario.
I fucking love the early singles especially too, but I just sang on some of the thing they've got coming up, and it's the completion of the Chinese Zodiac cycle. Yeah. It's insane. It's got to be 3 LPs long, just this one thing.
It's like a 20-year project. Right?
Yeah. And that I can only be in awe of that, like sticking to them as someone with mad ADD to be able to keep like 20 years of an entire theme record going. I would say then along those lines that is pretty hard to top for hardcore that's ever come out of here.
I completely agree. I mentioned before we started filming, that's one of the first records I ever bought, and I've still got the same copy.
Nice.
And unfortunately, it like has a bit of damage on it. And when I pull it out, I'm like, I bought this new. I did that damage. That's me.
Right.
When did I do that?
That's alive. That's life.
Yeah.
You gave it a life. This was neat to know things like this can still happen because this was supposed to be $300, and it was somewhere in like an antique store in cottage country. It was like the grandchildren or something were watching the place, and I guess they missed a 0 and made it 30. I'm like, yes, I have 30. So I'm a bad person? I don't know, but I really love this record. Kathy Young and the Innocents. Pretty fucking hard.
What's your like go-to Sunday morning coffee record?
Oh man. Terry Callier, the new folk sound of Terry Callier.
Can I see it?
Yeah, I think it's probably still like by my...
By the turntable?
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's probably sitting where I've been playing it. Let's see. Who's that? There you are. That thing is gorgeous, and I love it.
I'll be home tomorrow night.
I'm a sucker for like really androgynous, kind of quivery, like, you know Robbie Basho?
Not by name.
He was like a John Fahey contemporary, but he's just got this like ethereal, you know Anthony and the Johnstons?
No, I got some homework to do.
Okay,
there,
okay.
buddy.
Well, they're more recent, but the same kind of like spooky androgynous quiver to it. I
Okay.
can't think of anything else that's really like it, but Terry Callier definitely has it. And it's weird because it's on Prestige, but it's really like a folk guitar record. It's not more than a jazz guitar record, but that's a go-to. Sybil Bayer, there was a German folk record, just like a sad teenager of Germany. I can always put this on. I love that record.
Made me forget about.
What is it you like about it?
I don't know. It's like Nick Drake as a sad German teenage girl. I don't know what. It's just like it's very raw and emotionally like unguarded.
Yeah.
And I don't think this person ever thought this was going to be. It got found like decades later, and the Sun helped put it into like make it be a record.
And when you say it's raw, do you mean lyrical content?
Yeah.
Do you mean the overall vibe?
I mean the vibe,
The sound?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like a wounded young person.
Yeah. You're a lyric guy.
I am absolutely a lyrics person. Yeah. And there's some things like, say, Jawbreaker that aren't my favorite musically, but I really respect when someone's really good with words.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like I have a higher tolerance than some people for like a bad voice if they've got a great story to tell.
The Crucifix was one of the 5 first records I got off a wall because it said The Crucifix, Wisconsin. Yeah. Absolutely unlistenable, but brilliant.
Yeah.
I can handle some weird sounding shit
For sure.
too, if it's going somewhere cool.
Neil Young comes to mind. I think he's got a beautiful voice, but I know a lot of people don't like his voice.
I got thoughts on this too.
Yeah,
Man,
please,
I think we
please.
have similar journeys here. Jello Biafra, Neil Young.
John Prine.
Yeah. David Thomas, Rocket from the Tombs.
Yeah.
And Perubu. I think when someone has a really, I want to say almost grating or really nasal voice, or the kind of voices you think you don't like. And Doc Dart from the Crucifix is the most challenging of all on purpose. There's so many things that I thought I didn't like, and the whole time they were just like worming deeper into my subconscious. So stuff like, Jello Biafra's voice.
Yeah.
Neil Young's for sure. That turns out those are the ones that hit me even more later on.
Right.
You know, when
They grow on you.
Yeah. That's one somewhere on this wall is that Dead Man soundtrack, that Jarmusch movie. That's one of like my favorite possessions to have as an LP because it's just it's full of those samples, just like apocalyptic, wangy, perfect. And Earth, the band, was so much like took a whole turn after specifically that soundtrack. I think a lot of like Hex, all those things are modeled largely after that.
You just finished a week of work. Let's say you got an hour at home. You're going to go out to a show, but you got an hour to pregame at home. You got to hype yourself up.
Witchery.
What record are you putting on?
Witchery, Dead Hot and Ready, or Symphony for the Devil.
Let's see it.
Okay. Witchery is a Swedish kind of a super band of like thrash and black metal people, specifically Symphony for the Devil, but I'll take Restless and Dead or Dead Hot and Ready if I can. It's just like Motorhead on 78. It's just like super fast. They're just fun as hell. We did a bunch of shows with Dysphere, and some people from Dysphere crew were Dismember people. Yeah. And they laughed their asses off that I wanted to know everything about Witchery. Dude, if that's a joke band, it's better than 99% of the bands that are not a joke.
All right.
So that's definitely...
That's your hype up sound.
You want to amp me up. Give me Witchery.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I love how locked in you have.
Oh, I knew that.
Let's kill it. I feel like a lot of punks, and especially hardcore punks, have this aversion to idolizing the bands that they love. You know, it's like once you realize that, you know, Minor Threat recorded their 7-inch the same way that you recorded your 7-inch in their jam space, and somebody had like a little 4-track or 8-track or 16, however many tracks it is, and it's just like 4 or 5 people doing a DIY thing, and you can do that too.
Yeah.
It kind of demystifies the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
But
it humanizes it too.
Yeah. I'm curious, despite all that for you, is there any sort of classic punk records that still feel mythical to you? Like the band doesn't feel human?
Yes. Negative Effects, the pre-slap shot. Just like a little bit of a self-mythologizing shit disturber thing, but that, and for sure that, tied down with my set list from when I got to see them.
What year would that have been?
Not back then. I think that Burning Love weirdly played with Negative Approach in Florida. I think that's where this came from.
I also like to grab set lists for...
I do when they're things that like are
Things worth
personal
remembering.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
If I can grab a set list on a flyer and I just put them in the sleeve and I file it away and then the next time I play the record, they fall out. I'm
Yeah.
like, yes. I love that kind of stuff.
To your point though too about like they're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
When that thing came to Emissions, the Negative Approach 7 and the insert had all this like red pen filling it in, and like I got fucking goosebumps because like that's those kids sitting in someone's mom's basement around a coffee table doing that with their records that they just got.
Yeah.
And we know it as that.
Yeah.
But like that's amazing. It's just not $3,000 of amazing. I think it's more culturally significant than it needs to be like someone's buying a house with that. But remembering the bands were just like kids in a fucking VFW hall room or a basement, that's exciting to know. Currently there's waves of bands that play like moshy 90s metalcore.
It's big. It's back.
Yeah, because it's been that chunk of time. And
Camo shorts are back.
Absolutely. And I think about that and for a second I'm like, that's corny because that's what I remember growing up around. Liking Negative Approach when that was happening.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's exactly the same as like, I was there in the 90s wishing things sounded like the 80s.
In regards to like the current wave of like moshcore type stuff, right?
And there's great stuff and kids have their heads in a good place. So I gotta respect.
Someone once said to me, they're like, never trust anybody who likes hardcore but not punk.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I think that goes back. I always think of things like Youth Brigade and people that like gravitate towards that shit. There's a kind of person that thinks hardcore is one thing and punk is a different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Black Flag is oldies to some people.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Just out of personal self-interest, can I see that Zamrock stuff?
Yeah. And these are almost all reissues.
Don't fear the repress, man.
Cursed or Burning Love tour in California somewhere. I got that way back when that came out. That's a Witch single. Kind of like a disco era, but it's absolutely exciting that I couldn't believe it when I just found that. I do have a bunch of things that are original. They're usually really beat up. They weren't thinking that far into the future with this kind of stuff. The guy that runs that label now again, Jason Moss, he's literally the guy that first went to Zambia physically and like hassled people to find the original tapes in their garages of this shit, brought them back and fixed them up and reissued them. Which is the entire reason they even got to like the blogosphere when it happened and then the reissues happened. So it's exciting like that. That's absolutely the pinnacle of
Lazy
that
Bones.
whole song. Like you can hear, I don't know how big that world must have been, but I'm picturing these people that obviously like things like Sabbath and the Stones in Zambia in 1975. That has to be a pretty niche world to have been running in, but pretty exciting what comes out of it.
Some of the guitar tones on that Witch record.
Oh God, it's like pure like Ron Ashton sounding shit.
Yeah.
The best kind of like abrasive fuzz. This is all that stuff. I mean, Now Again reissues. O.S.E. Rogi's Sierra. That one is especially nasty and great. And the Gozi family that are on this, all their stuff is great. It's neat. It's like alternate histories. I think that's what I like about knowing that that something existed in a place that I never would have thought it did. Just like all that like Turkish psych and things in the 60s, like all over the world. Peru, OGs of Ricky Lilonga. Salty Dog is a real good one. That Madhu Mokhtar thing of Purple Rain. And I love anything with a oud on it. I'm an oud dude. I think if you're younger and you've only grown up post-internet and algorithms, you're just now seeing that stuff doesn't stay there. There's a lot of unsavory stuff about the business of it. Early internet seemed like it's on the internet, that's it, forever. Not the case at all. Things get taken down, and even when you like buy things digitally, they don't. I can understand absolutely why people that are younger are just now seeing the value in just getting the stuff you like and holding on to it. You control it. Keep it as long as you want. No one's going to take it off your iPod, you know? But I would say don't be ripped off. That's the hard part. Where I work, I try to have like good stuff, cheap and accessible because of what it is, especially when it's punk records, right? But I see kids buying CDs because they're fucking $5, you know? For the same reason I grabbed all these records because they were $2.99 when CDs were coming in. So I think you got to dig, buy things because you like them, get them on whatever format. You know, it doesn't have to be a record to... People buy a lot of reissues and they immediately sell them, and it looks like they don't feel very lived in. You know, like we're saying about our the life cycle of our records. Just go towards what you like. Use the internet and use all the digital things for the convenience that they're good for. You know, iPods are great when they came out. I went on tours and had like 20,000 things in my pocket. That's good for what it's good for. But it's not, I mean, this is like a real physical, unnecessarily physical thing at a time when the world sold us for the last like 30 years on like, that it was better that things weren't like less and less and more diminutive. And I never went in for that. I like my stuff, you know, find the shit you like. Don't get ripped off. It's cycles, you know, it'll bottom out. It's a bubble that'll have to burst, I imagine, you know, because what is a negative approach to that? Is it going to be $10,000? Like, it's fucking stupid. Just like a house, you know, is it going to be $20 million? Just give up and stop trying at that point. Yeah. Just take in the culture of it. Yeah. That's calling you.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
No problem, man. Oh, I've had too much coffee.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the interview. Let me know what you think in the comments. Any hot takes you disagree with? Any records you think we snubbed? And just real quick, one last time, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, share. All these things help the channel grow. And if you'd like to help the channel grow even more than that, I've set up 2 different ways to financially contribute. There's Buy Me a Coffee for one-time contributions, and then there's Patreon for a recurring monthly contribution. I mentioned earlier, I give away a good record every month, so just a sneak peek here. It's currently February 2026, and at the end of the month, I'm giving away a copy of the Stooges Funhouse. This isn't a Russian bootleg. This is a 72 French press. I'm going to post a video at the end of February of me drawing names out of a hat, and whoever I pick, I will mail you this record at my cost. Next month, I'm giving away this 1977 pressing of the first Ramones LP. This is a Canadian press. You can see here by the little maple leaf. Nice, clean copy. I'm trying to create a value proposition where you, my viewers who are still watching in the outro of the interviews, you get the chance to win a cool vintage record, and I get the opportunity to make more of these episodes. Okay, that's it. See you in the next one.